like to talk about who we're running against. A billionaire who calls women fat broads and horse-faced lesbians. And no, I'm not talking about Donald Trump. I'm talking about Mayor Bloomberg. Democrats...
Mission failed. We'll get them next time.
Hey, what's up guys, and welcome back to a brand new video. So last night we had the Las Vegas Democratic debate, and at this point I forget which number this is, but regardless, it was a pretty crucial debate for a variety of reasons. And the main thing is that Michael Bloomberg, who at this point is just buying his way into the election, this was his first debate he qualified for, and we're going to go over his performance later on, but at this point just know it was pretty subpar to say the least. Now this debate was also important because this was the first one after the Iowa and New Hampshire primaries, so certain candidates needed to prove they were still in the running, whereas others used this as an opportunity to shine even more going into the Nevada primary. So let's go over the winners and losers, and then I'll give you guys my personal feelings about the whole thing afterward. So first off, let's talk about Elizabeth Warren. She had a pretty solid night. Now her showings in the primaries have been pretty lackluster so far, so she definitely needed this as an opportunity to really gain some momentum and definitely see some memorable moments. She did have a pretty big memorable moment when she pressed the absolute hell out of Bloomberg for not releasing women from NDA contracts. This was the debate's most heated moment, and Warren's performance here was undeniably strong. She's absolutely pressing Bloomberg. He has no response, and it basically displays her as the champion of women, compared that to just a sinister looking Bloomberg, and it was just a really good move for her. Now moving on, Bernie Sanders also had a pretty solid night. His success tonight at this point though is just a result of him not doing poorly. I mean, at this point he's clearly the front runner. He's ahead in pretty much every poll. I guarantee you he's going to win Nevada. So for him just not fucking up the debate was him winning, and he didn't fuck it up. His debate was pretty standard for what we've seen from Bernie at this point, and pretty much I think he's still at the top of the pack, and he's definitely not going anywhere. So good on Bernie for not doing anything too outlandish here. Now, Amy Klobuchar also had a pretty good night. She is now pretty much like the moderate centrist Democrat, with Biden's campaign now really literally about to die. She had some memorable moments, especially against Pete Buttigieg, who pressed her for not knowing the name of the Mexican president. I really did like her response. I thought it was pretty solid. She opted for more of a humble approach to politics, like, we do make mistakes, let's move on. Although I do think she got a little too upset when she accused Pete of calling her stupid and incompetent. I think her over-exaggeration was not a good look. But overall, I think she had a strong showing prior to the debate in New Hampshire, and I think after this debate she's had a good chance of picking up some delegates in Nevada. Now, speaking of Pete, I think he had a pretty okay night. He's also pitching the moderate cell, and he appears pretty collected on stage. I don't think he did poorly, but it definitely was not a crazy good night for him to really make any headway. He's pretty solid. He's polling, middle of the pack. He's had good showings in Iowa and New Hampshire. So at this point, I think he's got a pretty solid chance of picking up more delegates in Nevada. Okay, so let's talk about the big losers of the night, who are definitely going to be Michael Bloomberg and Joe Biden. So starting with Bloomberg, this man was just pressed constantly from every other candidate. I'm not surprised. He's pretty much just buying his way through advertising into the debates, so obviously they're going to be pissed that he is doing that. Now, the pressing from these candidates was pretty much allowed because of his pretty controversial past. He was accused of supporting Republicans in the past. He was criticized by Biden for stop and frisk. He was attacked by Warren for the NDA thing with women, and his defenses were not very effective. He just kept trying to pivot away from taking full responsibility. It was not a good look, yet at the same time, it's unknown if this is going to affect his performance because he's only on the ballot on Super Tuesday. So by that time, after a ton more Bloomberg ads, I doubt anyone is really going to remember any of these bad moments, and it's going to give him more experience to have a better performance going into more debates. So I don't think it's too bad on Bloomberg, but overall his performance was pretty shit. Now finally, let's talk about Joe Biden, who has also had a pretty bad night, and he just at this point needs a really good performance to save his pretty much dead campaign, and he just failed to do that. He rambles on about topics, and at this point he just does not seem to have the energy fit for someone who is supposedly the front runner, and I have no doubt he will once again tank in Nevada, and at this point it's just tanking by how much the question is. His campaign, I am guaranteed, is dead. He is not going very farther, and at this point I'm just waiting for him to drop out. So yeah, that's pretty much it for the Las Vegas debate. I think Bernie is clearly still the front runner. He had an okay night. having an okay night for Bernie is good, so that's pretty cool. And the moderate vote, it'll just be either split, or if they can get behind a certain candidate like Klobuchar or Buttigieg, then that is going to make it a test for Bernie. So that's pretty much how I feel about this going now. We're gonna have to wait for Nevada, and then we can analyze those results there. But yeah, guys, that's pretty much it for the video today. Let me know what you guys think about the debate down in the comments below. And yeah, with that being said, take care, guys, and I'll see you all later.